evil science and magic buddies.
Hello, welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
I'm Chris.
Damn.
Rob Morphy.
Oh, shit. Kryptonaut Podcast, listener stories, 9. We're
Back
doing
in
it.
black.
We're almost...
9.
We are almost to 10.
Oh,
it's fucked up.
We're almost abusing the privilege, but really, they're fucking fun. Yes,
They are.
It helps
They're
me be
fun.
exceedingly lazy, but it also is just this great window into, as I've said many times before, unknown stories, and I'm loving them, guys. I really am. And one of these days, I don't know, we might have to compile a book or something. Obviously, you know, I'll make sure I have the permission of everybody, but they're really great tales, and I almost know that I know we're going back to our traditional format pretty soon, but I think we should keep this a regular. Occasional thing, just because there's so many more great tales out there that we're sitting on.
Before Rob writes that book, always remember to visit hellerspace.com and get yourself some Kryptonaut merch. There is not a sale this month, but there will be a code on Patreon, so check that out. Do you do Patreon? Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. $1 is a shout out, $5 is a shout out, and some bonus audio. After this episode, we're going to be recording the final episode for July, so check that out. We have some Patreon shout outs. Robert, the author, the filmmaker, the researcher, the crypto folklorist.
Wow.
Can you please?
Oh my God, wow.
Jeez, what are you doing? Yeah, you can totally get in my pants now. Thank you.
All right, good. I was just trying to talk myself into your pants. Please.
Mission accomplished.
Let's
I'll do it.
continue with the Patreon shout-outs.
Thank you. Let's begin with John Monty. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Quentin Turk.
Quentin, thank you for your contribution.
I'm not going to go off too far, but does anyone else remember Turk 182 with
yeah.
Timothy Hutton?
Timothy
And
Hutton,
it was
yeah,
about,
absolutely.
I guess, a rebel vandal and a dead firefighter. That's literally all I remember. But anyway,
It's also
it always
a
makes me
dead
think
guy.
of that.
Yeah,
It's
I have
also
no
a dead
deets.
guy song. So
Turk 182.
Turk 182, dead guy from New Jersey. Check them out. They're fucking awesome.
Right
Continue,
on.
please.
Mason Arnold.
What up, Mason? Thank you for your contribution.
Jocelyn Kuhn.
Jocelyn, thank you so very much.
Stephen Schreffler or Stephen Schreffler. It's that classic Stephen King spelling. So let's
Right.
go with Stephen Schreffler and hope we get it right.
Steve, thank you. Perfect.
Kimberly Rains. This is Kimberly now. We got to give
Hell
her
yeah,
a
Kim,
moment.
what up?
Perfect.
Thank you,
What up, Kim?
Miss Rains. And to wrap it up, Simply Ben. I'm hoping it's a little rat that likes to have Michael Jackson
Yeah.
sing songs about him posthumously,
Yeah.
but it's probably a dude. And thank you, Ben.
Dude, isn't that like fucking Ben, the two of us need look no more? Isn't that
Yes,
the song?
exactly.
Yeah,
it's the
right,
Rat and
right.
the Boy movie, the sequel to
Yeah.
Willard.
Rat
It was
and the
really
Boy.
weird. Rat and Boy.
The
Rat
rat
and the
and the boy.
I'm sure in some foreign, in like Turkey, it got released as The Rat and the Boy.
Yeah,
A love
there you
story.
go.
Right,
There
or
it is.
Death King
Death King
If it's
starring Michael
Turkish,
Jackson.
with Cooney and
Weird.
Arkin.
I think there's an
Kunyat.
death Kunyat Arkin forever.
Kunyat Arkin,
the Turkish
nice.
king god of acting and a medical doctor. If you
And
don't
karate.
know Kunyat Arkin
Yeah.
and karate, the absolute master of karate. Oh my God! Yes, do yourself a favor and Google that wondrous human being. But
Yes,
that is
indeed.
it for Patreon this week. And again, thank you all so very, very much.
Yes, thank you all so very much. So here it is, Listener Stories 9. Robert, intrigue me, make me scared. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to do both if at all possible, but really,
Okay.
it's the onus is on the listeners who sent it in. And this one begins with, "Hi, Kryptonaut crew. My name is Oz, and I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Perfect.
This happened about 2 years ago in late spring or early summer. I was inside playing video games. Over the course of about an hour, there was a lot of banging and commotion coming from the roof of my house. This isn't that unusual, as there are a lot of possums in my area, and they're pretty cool Australian possums, I must say, at that
dope.
time of year, and they scurry about a lot. What was unusual, however, was how loud they were and how long it had been going on. Oh, nice. I heard that crack. I eventually got annoyed and thought I'd go outside to maybe see if I could startle them and make them find some other house to bother. I went outside, a little wary as Australian possums sound terrifying, very reptilian with hissing and throat clicking sounds.
Yeah.
Creep.
So, real quick, is this not the opossum that we know here in the United States? Is
Oh,
this a
no.
different type of possum?
No, our dirtbag, methed out, fucking crack-headed possum. Yeah, it's slightly different.
Okay.
They must be related. I know our opossums, or I think they're technically still possums. I don't know if that's a regional name or not. I know they're marsupials, like one of the few we actually have in North America, so they're related in that sense.
Right.
But they're not as classy as, say, the British badger, but they're not nearly as dirtbag as the American opossum. So
Okay. All right.
Google
Cool.
it and you'll know. You'll know.
All right.
But they make a hella commotion. So these possums, according to Oz, make that, reptilian hiss and click, which can really freak you out if you are not prepared for it. A quick YouTube search will give you an example if you are interested. I think everyone should do that, just so they know.
Totally.
I
Pause the
stepped out.
podcast, go to YouTube,
Right.
look it up, come back. And we're back.
Stepped out, triggering my sensor light, and walked forward enough so I could see the roof. I saw two eyes looking at me, yellow in color, I think, reflecting back about 1 foot high above the roof line. I walk over to grab my broom, hoping to just bang on the roof to get the possum to move on. I then walk back to where I could see it, and that's when the weirdness happened. I looked up to where I last saw it and raised my broom. The only way I can describe what happened next is that I then watched it stand up. All I could see were its eyes, but it was as if it was lying flat on the roof and stood up to a height of about 3 to 4 feet in height.
I'm not an educated man, but that is no opossum that I've ever seen.
That is a super possum.
Or possum, not opossum.
So a 3 to 4 foot opossum is definitely not a opossum. It is definitely something
the
fucking
worst
else.
Cajun that has ever happened out loud and on purpose, or are you just having a seizure?
Is a goddamn distinct Port Byron accent, okay? And if you're not from around here, you're not going to know where Port Byron is. But if you go to Port Byron, that's how they say opossum.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm just
okay.
going to say this is not a possum. I've made my case. Continue.
Fair enough again. I lived on a farm when I was younger. I know, you're fucking alienating everybody.
No, you nailed it. I mean, you are the fucking marsupial general.
I'm going to spit my beer. Stop. Okay,
Oz lived on a farm when he was younger.
Good.
And I am familiar with Australian wildlife. Possums are not that big, neither are koalas. Gray kangaroos are, but they do not climb on your roof.
Okay.
I could not comprehend what I was seeing, and I was slightly horrified. So I lowered my broom, walked back to where I got it from, put it back, went inside, and locked the door. I love the fastidiousness of this. Like, I'm just not going to drop my fucking broom. The broom has a place. So even though there's a 4 foot tall hell-all on my roof that I can't identify staring down at me, with clearly the height advantage at this point, I'm still going to make sure everything in its proper place, hang the broom back up. Your mom would be proud of you, Oz. I know my mom would, though I would have completely chucked the broom and ran.
Good for you on saving the broom, and also too realizing that this creature has the higher ground. And if we've learned nothing from Star Wars, Revenge of the Jedi,
What? Revenge of the Jedi?
Yeah, wasn't it? Oh no, I'm sorry, not Revenge of the Jedi.
You just made up a movie.
No, actually, Revenge of the Jedi was what part 3. What Return of the Jedi was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. No, I'm thinking of. I'm fucking shot. I'm thinking of the last prequel movie.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Yes. Thank you, Robert.
No problem.
Where Anakin did not have the high ground, but Obi-Wan did, and didn't.
He lost.
Well.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Darth Vader. So, all right, cool. How do we finish this up, Rob?
Okay, we finish this up by saying, or by reading what Oz said, I did not hear anything on my roof from that moment on and have never experienced anything like that ever since. Thank you for taking the time to read my story, Oz. And Oz, thank you for taking the time to write it. This is interesting because it is a pure black hole of mystery. It is a void that we all, can't help but to fill with our own worst imaginings. Like I see something sort of like a more streamlined version of what were those things that sometimes. Well, it's like a streamlined version of the fucking terrible Ape Yeti thing in Creepshow's The Crate segment, which is hands down my favorite segment in that movie. Of course, any crypto kid would think so, I think. And those, not Watusis, but the Native American legends that a lot of people put in the same breath with devil monkeys, where they have they're spindly and they basically kind of look like monkey foxes on two legs. But of course, in silhouette with little tufts of shaggy, mangy hair and bright reflective yellow eyes, just 4 feet up on top of a roof. And Oz, of course, knowing where a fucking broom goes and is not going to be intimidated into not keeping his shit tight. So that's respect.
I mean, is devil monkeys, are those a thing that are in Australia?
I don't know. I mean, they have, of course, the Yowie. The Yowie's the big Bigfoot type, hyper primate, for lack of a better description. Like it's large and ostensibly dangerous. I know New Zealand's got its own version, which makes it even weirder because, I mean, it's such a small geographical point, but a lot of people have seen it. So, of course, that opens up different ideas for paranormal enthusiasts as well as cryptozoologists. But there might be a tradition, somewhere between the bunyip and the Yowie of smaller. And there's no reason to assume it's a primate either, by the way. It's just too big to be anything but a kangaroo, and kangaroos, don't climb onto roofs. But as far as mid-sized danger primates, like the American, North American in general devil monkey, I don't know about it if it does exist, and I'd love to find out if anyone does know.
Okay, well, but let's go skeptically here, not to poo-poo, but let's go skeptically. Gray kangaroos are that size, though they're not known to climb onto your roof. Though if one could make its way onto your roof, it would be making a pretty loud noise. So the question is here, let's just say if there was a gray kangaroo, how did it get on the roof? Was there a ladder left out? Could it jump on a tree?
Do they have eye shine?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Chris, for being smart.
These are great questions that that none of us can answer.
But I'm saying, let's say that Oz was working on his gutters or his roof, and he's like, hey, man, I got my fucking ladder here. I was going to do an Australian accent, but I won't because I'm not a fucking asshole. I mean, I am an asshole, but I won't do it. So if there happened to be a ladder or some way for this thing to get up there, I mean, what's not saying that there could be a tree nearby or maybe some sort of vehicle, to get this gray kangaroo on the roof.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
Is there a way that this kangaroo could get up there?
No, I know you said vehicle. I pictured the kangaroo.
No, not like a sweet hovercraft or something like that,
no.
or like a hit.
A means or a mechanism. Yes, we know.
This great kangaroo does not have fucking Serpentor's sweet fucking hovered cobra.
Well, that you fucking know of, but
exactly.
Now maybe Oz has a half pipe next to the house. Maybe he's an old school skater.
Oz has a sweet vert ramp.
Man, I guess
maybe
it's
there's a massive dirt pile because of some landscaping he's planning on doing. Maybe the house was buttressed up against a hill, and it sort of gives the illusion of a Hobbit-style domicile from a distance, sans the round door, though who knows?
And the kangaroo fucking jumped on the roof and was just pounding its fucking feet like, fuck you, Oz, come out. And then Oz is
all of these, of course, are possibilities. None of them seem to be pretty likely based on the fact that he took the time to report this, because if there was easy access to the roof of his house and a fucking... I don't know, what do they call a mob of kangaroos? I almost called them a horde of kangaroos, making them the most dangerous animals ever. If there was a mob of kangaroos around his house and easy access to his roof, I don't think this would be a mystery he'd be sharing. I'm just throwing that out there.
Robert, you are 100% correct. And you know what? I stand corrected. I'm sorry.
Oh, no need to apologize.
Sure.
Just wanted to put it out there.
Maybe they discovered a new way up there that very fucking night. They're like, hey,
kangaroo evolution.
We need to get on the
milk cart. Oh, kangaroos know how to tie ropes into
dude, they have abs and they stare you down until you fucking cry. So don't think they can't find their way onto a roof.
I think someone in our Facebook group, shout out to our Facebook group, what up? I think that someone just did post a thing about a kangaroo, and that thing is fucking shredded.
Yeah.
Ripped.
No, their pecs are dumb.
Totally.
Their leg muscles,
abs
good lord.
would give Jesus a run for his money.
Dude, totally. Totally fucking
here.
Dude. Crucified Kangaroo. That's my new punk rock band.
That is so fucking metal, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking dope. All right, so obviously Kangaroo off the fucking table here, because there's if Oz knew of a way the a horde of kangaroos would get up there, he'd obviously tell us about it. So 3 to 4 foot tall marsupial, 3 to 4 foot, it's fairly fucking big. Interesting, though, is this thing's on the roof and is just making fucking noise, which, if it didn't understand, that makes me think like, okay, speaking animalistically as an animal, if you're on something, right? If this thing had intelligence to it, and it was, let's say, hunting Oz, right? So it's like it knows he's there, and like a predator,
like maybe even trying to dig in through the roof or something, trying to find access.
Or would this thing make a noise if it knew that he was in there? Or I'm just trying to think like intelligence-wise, like how smart is this thing?
Well, you can't measure intelligence among many things. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it.
Right.
I don't think the amount of noise one makes on a roof is any way to indicate how smart this potential predator may be.
Was it trying to call him out? Was it trying to bring him out of the house to attack him and eat his face?
Oh,
or was it just fucking frolicking around?
You're trying to add nefarious intentions.
I know. I'm trying to. I know. I wanted like Oz saved his own life by putting the broom away.
Maybe he was smart not panicking and running. I'll give him that. Maybe being, methodical and
I see what you're doing.
By the numbers. Maybe it didn't rile up this thing, but there's no reason to assume that this is carnivorous or predatory at all. This is just a large yellow-eyed thing. But if all right, so it's a super predator. I'm going with you here, Mark, and it knows that the way to distract a video game playing human is to rattle about on the roof, because we can't fucking stand that as a species. Generally known fact about human beings. Right. He also has been casing the joint and knows that motherfucker's rocking a broom, and this thing can beat a broom. And
100%.
When the confrontation finally happens, it rises up to, let Oz know in no uncertain terms, oh, you just fucked up, son. And then why did it not attack at this point? Tell me some theories.
What's interesting is that it was laying flat, but then it stood up. So it obviously saw him and was like, oh, what are you doing? And then it stands up like, look at me. But, I mean, if you think about it, 3 or 4 foot tall, I'm sure Oz is an average height fucking dude. So if he's like 5'11" or whatever, 5'10", this thing is only 3'4", or 3 to 4 feet tall. So Oz still has the height advantage. This thing obviously has the higher ground.
Not while it's on the roof. Yeah, exactly. The higher ground gives it mad height advantage, at least from pouncing perspective.
It's true. It does.
Right. So the thing is, the whole beginning here, he's describing about possums, and sometimes they do this thing. But when he's on the roof, he can only see the eyes. Right. Yep. That's it. So literally, it could be. I mean, what is flying that's down there? Do they have giant bats? I mean, do they have?
Yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, so just because he talks about marsupials, that it doesn't disclude all these other animals that it could be.
It's true.
Chris makes an absolutely valid point. The one thing that makes me think it's not flying is that, with the exception of hummingbirds, most flying things cannot maintain a position. And that even though he says he couldn't make out what it was, though my imagination, of course, runs wild, he definitely seemed to see at least amorphous silhouetted form go from flat to up. Now, I'm not saying that he saw its outline or anything like that. I mean, obviously, he dead up said he just saw eyes. But I don't know if a bat can just do like the gentle flap from, 1 to 4 feet and then hover and stare in a way that would make it not look like it was a flying animal. That would just be a difficult maneuver, I would think. So it's not where I would lean.
Right. Well, I mean, it says lying flat, then stood up. I mean, that's still. I understand what those words mean, but that's very. You can interpret that whole thing in a lot of different ways. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying I think it's a bat, but I can see any creature looking like it's lying flat and then looking like it's standing up. It is horizontal, now it's vertical.
Yep.
The only one thing we know, it is not a papabawa because they only have one eye. And
there's shirts involved.
And yes.
Yeah, and
Oz would be writing a very different account, but we'll get into that some other time.
So what if we obviously don't really have, I mean, there are a huge list of cryptids that are down there in Australia. But I mean, something standing 3 to 4 foot tall, I'm not I don't know how big possums get in Australia, but what if it's like a fucking super possum?
I mean, they have super otters. They have other things.
Yeah.
Some things can be anomalously large. I mean, I guess.
Do you guys remember Super Shredder, how big he was?
I do.
Stop it. Stop.
And then there was a Vanilla Ice concert on top of him, and they dropped the fucking dock on him. So
How
I'm just
dare
saying.
you?
Just saying. Could be a fucking super possum.
I don't know. I don't know how
good
big
Lord.
they are. I think the Australian ones are more they look more lemur-like to me.
I think Chris is right.
but
All right, I'm gonna
I don't
look
know
this
how
up.
big. I don't know what average bigness is, but
We might be
they
going
do
down
look more
Wombat
lemur-like.
Hill again because really,
Ooh,
Australia fauna,
Wombat
it's
Hill.
not our strong suit at all.
That's
Yeah,
true.
no,
I don't
I'm
know.
actually gonna look up-
Wombats, do they have eye
Let me
shine?
see
Or-
here.
They might.
All right, so Google has produced a fucking absolutely adorable image of a possum that clearly is not a North American fucking trash super rat. So these things are adorable, and yeah, probably not what was going to be on Oz's roof. So mystery, man, I don't know. It's fucking creepy. I mean, maybe it's some animal that he just misidentified, or maybe it's an unidentified animal that we don't fucking know about that's chilling in fucking Australia. And this shit's wild. So,
Well, nothing's
yeah, it's crazy.
misidentified. It was
Right.
or
not identified.
Nothing was misidentified because there was nothing to identify, with the exception of eyes and approximate height. So it's interesting that, as a man familiar with the fauna of his region, that he was perplexed and respectful of its presence, and then it went away. So it just makes it a really kind of brief, anomalous thing.
Totally.
That it's perfect for these kinds of accounts, but it's haunting in the sense that he won't, and we probably will never ever know unless a new species that's about that size is produced somehow.
Yeah, no, I think he
Right.
did. I mean, against my better judgment, I think he did the right thing where he was just like, you know what? I'm gonna respect my broom. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna go back to playing fucking Call of Duty Modern Warfare. What up? And then there you go.
Gotta
Right.
love it.
There it is. Awesome, Oz. Thank you so very much for the story, Robert. What is our next chilling tale?
Chilling tale. We're going to switch gears a little bit here, and
Okay.
and we're just going to see where this takes us. This comes to us from Thomas, and he says, I was 13, maybe 14. It was 1992 or 93. I had spent the night at my friend Eric's house. We had stayed up playing Super Nintendo and watching movies, pretty much par for course in those days. I totally get that.
Yep.
Totally, dude. Fucking loved my Super Nintendo.
Hell yeah. We had fallen asleep maybe a little bit after 1 or 1:30. I don't remember the exact time we fell asleep, and I don't remember how much time had passed until I had woken up. At some point in the night/early morning, I came out of sleep to see Eric standing across the room at his window, looking out and down toward his front lawn. It's always just a little weird,
Okay, well, yeah.
Not disturbing or challenging, but just you
No,
wake
it's
up
weird.
and your buddy's
Yeah.
just looking out the window and it's the wee hours and you're like, kind of the fuck, but
Yeah.
nothing to be concerned about yet.
Hey, look, if I'm having a sleepover with either of you two or with both of you, and I fucking wake up and one of you or both of you are looking out the window being weird, I'm going to be like, the fuck?
Exactly.
What are you guys doing?
You have to
Fuck.
at least inquire.
All right,
Exactly.
All right.
And this is what Thomas does. I called out softly to him and he said nothing. I called out to him again and was ignored. This is where things start getting a little more worrisome. He was watching something out of the window, almost swaying on his feet. I remember getting out of bed and walking the few feet to him by the window. His face was kind of blank, and I remember someone saying, "What's going on down there?" I don't know if he said it or I said it, but there was something going on outside near his front yard. And I get that because sometimes the vagary of memory is that, what?
The vagary.
The vagary.
Thank you.
Fuck you. Double fuck both you guys. Vagary.
No, you know
right.
what? We're going to fucking double
All
fog
right,
you.
no, just okay.
Oh, you got double hunted.
You got the double
Yeah, no,
fog. There you go.
hot sandwich. Thanks, fuckers.
Yeah, you got it.
No one knows who said what's going on down there is where we left off.
Right.
All this time later, and the events have a strange quality about them, an intense feeling of, quote, not rightness, unquote. A feeling that whatever I was seeing down there was something that I was not intended to see. And yet, what did I see? That is the question. I saw a group, perhaps 3, 4 men, milling around a ... object. What it was exactly, I can't recall. It was one of the parts of this experience that remains unclear, almost blocked. It was something, though. The men were what grabbed my attention immediately. They looked almost like utility workers, linemen maybe, or a road crew. Only there was no road projects currently, no electrical problems, and trash day wasn't on a weekend. Yet here these men were in white jumpsuits and white hard hats at nearly 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I looked at Eric and asked, what the hell is going on? Who are they? What are they doing? I was starting to get nervous. This was wrong. I think I must have touched Eric on the shoulder or snapped my fingers because suddenly he was alert and aware that he was standing in front of his window with me asking questions about the men on his lawn. At that moment, one of the men on the lawn turned and looked over his shoulder and directly at me. I locked eyes with this man. He was perfectly boring and normal, and that is what filled me with such fear. There was absolutely nothing normal about this quote-unquote man and his companions. All right, so what we have here so far is interesting mostly from the perspective of the gut feelings that Thomas has. Because even though at 3 a.m. is not a typical time for road work, certainly, but, you know, if there's an electrical problem or a problem with water pipes who knows what, I mean, any hour of the day can be a time when people might get called out to, you know, stave off an emergency. So
yeah, dude, I got called out actually only once this week, but twice last weekend. So yeah, I was out there at fucking all hours of the night, man, doing my shit, preventing sewage from going into the rivers. So yeah,
you did.
Front line.
That's right.
Keeping the water clean. I appreciate that,
That's
buddy.
right.
But
no shit in the water. That's my fucking line.
So it's not beyond the pale. And thank you for that line and that effort about men in uniforms of whatever sort doing a job at night.
Right.
It's just interesting how he's feeling about it.
But he is feeling uneasy about this.
Definitely.
Whereas, like, they look normal, but nothing is normal. So that's interesting.
Okay.
At least in his perspective. We can break that down in a little bit.
Right.
What I remember the most about this man was that he had a big walrus mustache. And this is interesting, this next point, though a thick mustache on a blue-collar man is not all that out of the ordinary. I don't know why, but this man reminded me of the hologram drivers the Autobots and Decepticons would use to make themselves appear to be real vehicles with human drivers.
I remember this.
It's something I haven't thought of in years.
Yeah, totally.
It was as if this man was someone else's idea of what an American male blue-collar worker looks like. I knew, however, almost immediately that this was not what it appeared to be. I locked eyes with him. He was 2 stories down and about 100 feet away. It was dark, and yet I could feel him looking directly at me. To this day, I will never forget that sense of dread I felt. A screaming terror that instantly turned my insides into ice water. I locked eyes with him, and then I woke up. So, the first thing I noticed when I woke up was the orange light. Eric's bedroom was filled with an amber-colored light, almost the color of a flashing road sign. The room was filled with it, and slowly it began to fade away. The second thing I noticed was that I was completely paralyzed. Nothing would move except my eyes. Inside, I was screaming, thrashing, trying anything to scream. There was an electronic sound, a beeping like some construction equipment sound, then nothing. The room was normal. I could move. That's fucked up. Like to instantly blank out while you're freaked out staring at some stranger in the road. That's weird enough, but then to wake up in an orange light flooded room, having an absolute like freak out, but not being able to do anything physically, That is a jump cut that, even fucking Eisenstein would be leery of. That's fucking disturbing, to say the least.
That's weird, yeah.
I sat up and looked across the room, and Eric was fast asleep and snoring. My heart was thudding so badly in my chest, I thought for a few moments I needed medical help. I didn't realize it then, but I was having a panic attack. Mad empathy. That's a horrible, horrible feeling. I was able to calm myself down by looking around the room. There was the TV and the stack of video cartridges and the VHS tapes. A pile of empty cans of Jolt and Pringles. Everything was here. Everything was as it was before. That is a lot of Jolt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is no good. If you're worried about your heart, kid, that was not the way to go.
That is first of all, that is a super dated reference. And second of all, one Jolt will almost cause a heart attack.
Twice the sugar, all the caffeine.
Terrible.
I still remember the tag.
Yeah, God, Jolt's just trash.
Oh, it's garbage. You can feel your teeth literally falling out of your head every sip.
It was pre-Four Loko for all the young kids out there.
Yeah, non-alcoholic, but probably just as detrimental to your guts.
Yeah, exactly.
At that moment, I was convinced everything had just been an awful yet super realistic nightmare. Maybe brought on by too much junk food and hyper-violent anime. Pshaw, I say.
But
dude,
the best, best
watching
kind of
anime
scroll.
with your buddies when you're a kid, drinking Jolt, playing video games on VHS. Oh my God. If that doesn't ring true, good Lord.
Dude, one too many watchings of Ninja Scroll and you're fucked.
Oh, the bees that came out of that dude's back always haunted me.
Terrible.
Love that movie,
Terrible.
Though. To this day, I'll never forget the time displayed on the digital clock on the shelf, 3:19. I can't remember if I went back to sleep or not. I didn't mention the dream to Eric or anyone else for that matter. What would they say? Sounds like a horrible nightmare. I'm glad I didn't have it. They wouldn't be able to say anything more than that because that's all it was, right? I guess I convinced myself it was a dream, even though I fully knew 101% that it wasn't. Today I realize that it was much, much easier to assume it was a dream than to accept that it wasn't. If I accepted the fact that it wasn't a dream and that what really happened was actually real, then it also means something really fucked up, all caps, was happening and my friend and I happened to walk into the middle of it. I get that. I mean, I think maybe even, and I mean this for real, if you have a paranormal encounter and you are even, your mind and your psyche is giving you just the option to opt out, sometimes it might be better to do that. Not always. Getting the answers can help people and it can put things to rest and give them peace. And I'm all for it for those folks. But if you're the kind of person where it was fucked, occasionally I'll think about it, but I'm going to chalk it up to a dream, even though I don't think it was, because I can't make this the main zeitgeist of my life from now on. Maybe you're just better off.
Sometimes you got to feign ignorance and be like, yeah, it was weird shit. See ya. I got things to do.
I mean, I don't blame people that do it. I mean, it's tough.
I think we all do it on some level. We're like, oh, fuck, bye.
Oh, yeah.
We go on with our lives.
We've all compartmentalized trauma. That's the deal. That's the human condition.
As a human, that's how we fucking make it through this hellhole of fucking life. So there you go.
Oh, wow. Jeez. All right.
Yeah, wow. Deep.
Wow.
The deepest mark.
Wow.
Another hard truth to avoid was the behavior of the road crew as I began to think of them. Only one, the crew chief, was what I would call fully visible. There's an interesting twist. The others were almost out of focus, and to this day remain so in my memory. But I got the gist of them. They were busy doing something else, and the chief watched. He was the one who looked at me. So... also, that could be a trick of the mind. It's been,
totally.
The better part of 30 years. You're thinking about something that happened. Maybe this guy was the one that happened to glance up at the window and, you made eye contact. And so that's what strikes you. I'm being completely skeptical and prosaic in this description. It's just a road crew doing something. And so that guy with the big walrus mustache stands out. And the other guys are hazier because you didn't really focus on them. Now, I'm not saying that's what I think happened, but I'm just saying that's certainly one argument you could make. Another is that for some reason this was the only thing that, entity or whatever you want to call it, that corporeally manifested, while these other, phantasmic whatevers were just muddling around doing whatever. But we'll save that. We'll get through this, and then we'll start talking about it. He knew I was there, even though it would have been impossible for anyone to ever be able to make contact with someone else from our respective positions. Impossible, period. Yet it happened. Was that what caused the event to end? So I might have read that awkwardly, but I think what he's saying is it happened. And questioning, is that what triggered the ending of the thing? I find that a weird statement. I'm not trying to be too harsh here, but if you can make eye contact with somebody who's 100 feet away and maybe 30 or 40 feet below you, right. if you can do it, then you can do it. I'm not. I wish he would have elaborated on why it would have been impossible. If there's nothing blocking, between you two, then eye contact is certainly possible.
Yeah, sure. I think it means direct, where you really can see the eyes. Like, I mean, really see the eyes.
Like piercing into your soul, kind of. Glare.
I mean, just if you're like even 50 feet away, you can see someone in a direction. It might look like they are looking at you, but if someone's just next to you, they could be looking at them at that point.
You make a very good point, especially at night. You'd maybe see the shadow of the orbital rim beneath a streetlight or something, but you wouldn't necessarily. Right. Yeah, no, you know what?
But causing the event to end, that does lend itself more to the fact that it was a dream. To me,
it does,
because you know how dreams go. You do a thing, and all of a sudden, maybe you either start to realize it, or one thing triggers it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's it, and your brain just outs.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So we'll just leave that there.
Yes.
For the moment,
because he's got other theories and other things. So I'll continue. Even typing this at age 40, I get a deep feeling of unease. Like I said, I didn't think about it, ever. Maybe 10 years later, I was watching a program that brought up sleep paralysis as an explanation of alien abductions, and suddenly the entire dream just flooded through my head again, like someone downloaded it straight into my memory banks. My first and immediate thought was, I have sleep paralysis. Then I thought more and researched more, and while the thought of it being sleep paralysis was comforting, I wasn't able to come up with any more scenarios of me experiencing it. I might also add that while I slept over at Eric's house for many more years to come afterwards, I never had another experience like that there again. So I used sleep paralysis to pad my dream more, just to ignore what I knew to be the truth, that I had unwittingly interfered in an alien abduction of my best friend. And that is a fucking needle scratch.
No,
because you can go in a lot of places, but that's like, and this is this.
Man.
All right. Well, all right.
Shit. All right. Well,
let's just keep going.
You know what? Let's deal with it. We've been dealing with a lot in this episode. Let's deal with it.
All right. Flash forward to 2010. I was super excited to introduce my wonderful fiance to my friend Eric. He had been living out of state for a while now, and we hadn't seen one another in years, and were excited to catch up. He came over, and we had great fun talking about the old days and the new days, and getting old in the new days. Here to that. I don't remember how things came around to it, but somehow we started talking about dreams and then nightmares. At this point, we had consumed quite a few adult beverages and a nice entree salad of the devil's lettuce.
Shit. Entree.
What up? Entree.
But I was still surprised when I found myself starting to tell Eric and my fiance about the horrible nightmare I had in his house when we were teenagers. I got about 1/4 through the story when suddenly Eric cut me off and began talking about the dream exactly as I would have told it. Right up to the crew chief looking directly into our eyes before waking up briefly paralyzed. That's interesting.
Christ.
That's interesting.
So this is a new development.
It definitely.
Yeah, this is.
We've gotten a couple Shyamalan type twists.
This
is
the one, though. Yeah,
definitely.
No, now we have confirmation. We have fucking confirmation. I'm so stressed out. All right.
I was floored, flabbergasted, terrified. It was real. It wasn't a dream, and it actually happened exactly the way I was denying it did. Much like the finer details of the experience, my reaction to this revelation is also foggy. I get the same strange feeling now for the third or fourth time since I finally started putting all of it down. So it's one of those things where just accessing the memory it seems to either the mind is fighting to protect itself, or there's some sort of blocking mechanism, as some people discuss, that aliens or alternative intelligences, whatever they may be, can like put on your psyche to like try to, like a governor, to keep you, or at least try to prevent you from accessing certain memories. I don't know if it's either or what, but I find that interesting that even remembering it becomes a little bit of an ordeal.
Yeah, man, they fucking throttle that shit down.
Needless to say, the discussion continued. Eric told us a lot, that wasn't the first time it happened to him, and that it wasn't the last. His mother also recounted the same experiences and more to him. He showed and let me feel a tic-tac-sized piece of something in his forearm.
Oh,
there
Jesus
are no scars.
Christ, he got fucking tagged by some crazy fucking aliens, dude.
Sucks.
Shit. Yeah.
Sucks for Eric.
I want to hang out with this guy and help him out and cut that shit out of his arm and see what it is.
Yeah, I think I would have to get it removed. Like, I
well,
don't think I could.
Something.
Yeah, I just couldn't have that foreign
Dude, years
body.
ago, I had like weird fat deposits because I was like super heavy and lost a bunch of weight, and I had to get them fucking removed. It was a whole thing.
Hey,
I just remove that shit.
Look how beautiful you are now. Well worth it.
I'm not. I'm a terrible looking man, but thank
I
you.
disagree wholeheartedly, sir.
Thank you.
I'm a terrible looking man.
None of us are kind to ourselves. Let's be honest.
Come on, man.
No, I mean, we're not like the worst looking people, but like, yeah, we could be better. Whatever.
We could be better. Yeah, no,
I don't know, man.
I was talking to some other podcasts. They were saying to me, I'll mention this at the end, a little foreshadowing. You know how they're thinking about having more of a YouTube presence, and I'm like, yeah, but have you seen us?
Yeah,
that's not really an option.
Man,
come on,
no, dude, it looks like a weird Al Qaeda video. It just looks
oh,
weird.
Jesus Christ!
Good Lord,
you're not wrong.
It's like two Al Qaeda members kidnapped a tiny Italian girl with a beard.
You son of a bitch.
That's Chris.
Wow.
You're not the first person
Sherlock.
that said I look like a small Italian girl, though.
You look at Christopher.
I have
you are
never
a
noticed
handsome
that
man.
about you, Chris.
Well, the one
man.
time I shaved back in like '93,
Yeah, it's weird.
I went into
Chris
work
shaves,
and I got called a little Italian girl.
Yeah,
honest to God.
None of us need to shave. The beards help us. It hides our emotional and physical scars.
Well said, sir. Well said.
There you go.
And as far as I know, at least as of now, none of us have hidden Tic Tacs in our arms, so we got that going for us.
No,
I do not.
Yeah,
I do not.
good. But off our problems, back to the story.
Anywho,
Sorry about how you guys look. Paranormal. I know what happened to me, and I heard much more about Eric. His story, though, is not mine to tell. I can only say what happened to me. I respect that. After that, I did have several more encounters with things that were not part of what I would consider the natural world as we understand it. 3 involved flying craft of some kind, and 1 involves something I can only describe as a character from a Tolkien novel. Well, isn't that interesting?
okay.
Yeah, no, I'd like to know about those, please.
Yeah.
Sir. Thank you.
I need more Tolkien information.
Yeah, UFOs and Tolkien, of course. I mean,
Yeah, a Hobbit.
But I get
Trent.
it.
Was it a hobbit? Oh, was it Hobbities? Or what if?
Orc?
What if it was one of those?
Uruk-hai!
An
Oh my God.
Uruk-hai, exactly. What if it was like a miniature Uruk-hai, like 2.5 feet tall, and it was like, fuck yeah. And it was just 2.5 feet tall, and it was cute as shit.
Oh, all right, a baby Uruk-hai.
Yeah, little tiny baby Uruk-hai.
This is why we need to know.
Aren't they grown out of like the dirt, right? That's where they come from?
I
They're
don't know,
birthed
man.
From dirt.
Yeah, there's like a womb in the ground. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
And then they fucking come out with a fucking all right.
Is that going to be
All right.
the first album title for Crucified Kangaroo? Birthed from
that?
dirt?
Yeah, dude, fucking birthed from dirt. Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You guys,
you're writing the record.
you guys do the beautiful music. I'll do the cover art. It'll be great.
We're like 4 albums behind.
We're like 16 albums, 2 stage plays, and at least 14 movies behind at this
And
point.
actually, Chris and I are
man.
quite possibly in the beginning stages of revamping a demo from a band that we did many years
Yes,
ago.
I was
But anyway,
listening to some of that. That is fucking excellent.
more information coming later. Robert, let's finish this off.
Let us do
man.
this. Okay. Through all of my experiences, I have learned that we as a species have so much more to learn. I have tried to think about why these things have happened to me. Why was I a part of it? Timing, luck, I don't know. Maybe knowing isn't what it's supposed to be about right now. That's zen as fuck. Way to go, Thomas. Just like, hey, maybe, maybe not. Let's let it happen. Perhaps understanding is what it needs to be about. I was lucky enough to be part of something so strange, so fantastic. I got a view of something hidden, a glimpse into a world that is all around us except the shade is pulled down tight. I got to glimpse into that world only briefly, but it was long enough to show me that so much more is beyond it. That's pretty profound, and I happen to agree. I mean, it is a fucking world of infinite possibilities, and I think we, due to our, 5, perhaps 6, perhaps more senses, are very limited in how we are able to interact with it, and I think that's just fine for most people, and probably the safest bet for the majority of people. But every now and again, these things happen, and sometimes they can be described as straight up cryptozoological, in that it's just an animal that hasn't been chronicled yet, or maybe a vehicle from another place that, is traversing the skies. But some of the shit gets really deep into our perceptions of the world, what we might be sharing a world with, and, window areas and all these things that we just jumble in and throw in the dryer and, try to make it come out. And,
I mean, he has a really good point of view on it. Like, I had a little bit of the fucking shade of reality go up on me, and I was like, "No, pull it down, fucking stop." So he's got he has a good fucking way of looking at it. But I mean, good on him. That is so bizarre though. Holy shit.
And in the end, all he says is, feel free to contact me if you have the urge. And yes, I would love to know more about the other incidents that occurred, especially the Tolkien character.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of the show and appreciate your dedication and humor. And thanks for taking the time to hear my story. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you to all our listeners who sent in. That really is fascinating, because where it was going in the beginning was not where I saw it ending up at all, to be honest. I wasn't thinking extraterrestrial. I'm not even 100% sure it definitely is, even though none of us have privy to the depth of Eric and his mother's stories, which would probably really help flesh out, the whole incident.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, but no, everything. This is a I mean, they experience a thing, and then there's a thing in his arm. I mean, that is. That's a common abduction scenario. Everything that happened, not really until you get to that second part where he said it's his friends has something in his arm. I mean,
that's the fucking Shyamalan twist, dude. Like,
you can argue the dream scenario, like I brought up before. I'm like that feels like it's a dream scenario, but until he starts talking to his buddy and then they start corroborating.
Years later, too.
Then it gets a little.
It wasn't days or weeks. It was literally years.
A skeptic would say, of course, and reasonably so, they shared this story while they were still in their youth, and Thomas forgot that he happened to mention it. But then why would Eric? I don't think. Listen, I'm just throwing it out there for devil's advocacy. It is not what I think happened at all. And that maybe Eric kind of buried the memory or didn't think much about it, and when. They're reunited and they're throwing a few back and having a good time and reminiscing about old times. Suddenly, this is triggered and it comes back out. I could see where someone would say that, but that is supposing a lot of things. I think it seems much more likely that when he stops him, and only a quarter of the way through the story, so it's not like. Thomas had almost finished telling the story, and then Eric pops in and goes, "Oh yeah!" And then we woke up, and it was orange. Like, if he came in right at the beginning, and to me that really makes me think that they both experienced this. Now, whether or not it is extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or not paranormal at all is a whole other question, because the orange light is very difficult to ascribe to anything. Both of them conking out simultaneously and awaking however long later, but while it's still dark with sleep paralysis, that's also very much an alien trope and not easily explicable by natural means.
The only skeptical stance I have on the orange light is being a municipal worker myself who gets called out into the field at all hours of the fucking night to protect the goddamn waterways of the United States of fucking America, specifically New York, Cuyahoga County, the city of Auburn. I have a truck. I got orange lights on it. And when I put cones out in barrels, I got orange lights.
You got orange lights.
They will not allow me to have any other lights. Those are the lights I have.
The warning lights.
Skeptically, that could be it. But
this account
the room, weird,
is built to actually be a debunker's, wet dream, because it is construction worker basically type people or road workers at night in the typical uniform that we wear with the facial hair that might be found on any man of middle age at that time, and the color of lights that, as you just indicated so clearly, are what are used by said workers. So it would be very, very easy to just shut this down and not think deeper. But when you really listen to how Thomas tells this, and then hear about the interactions, and then obviously the deeper and more profound interactions that Eric had to endure, and it's almost as if Thomas just stumbled in. Like he said, this wasn't about me. I just happened to be a part of this, because he's my buddy. And Eric now has perhaps even evidence in his arm to prove it. Even though a lot of the artifacts that have been removed, I mean, they're like anomalous, they're metallic. Some people have a hard time identifying where they're from. Sometimes they have radio signals, but they never really seem to. I don't know if it's just that academics are so rigidly adherent to not like looking beyond the pale, or if that it really is non-conclusive evidence, and that just finding one of these things in a human body doesn't really prove one thing or another. I'm not sure really where that stands, but at least it corroborates and adds to the veracity of what was apparently Eric's real life encounters and Thomas's description of his one with him. So I find this much more intriguing. I again, a skeptic could go hog wild, but I think something really unique happened, and it's interesting about the eye contact, but to me the key is passing out. Once these things are aware of you being aware of them, you lose consciousness. That is such a classic alien abduction trope.
Yeah. Well,
totally.
A lot of this really is. You can argue. The thing that makes it is the corroboration with his friend. Up until this point, there's a very strong argument where, you had a really realistic dream and it was fucked up, but it feels like a dream, right?
And it was mixed maybe with seeing some people out there at night that you didn't expect to see, and it just sort of hybridized. Yeah. Right.
The corroboration really it completely changes the whole dynamic of the story.
100%. I agree.
So I don't really know how to explain that other than it happened. They both experienced a thing that happened. I don't know what the tic tac is in his fucking arm.
Yeah, first of all, get that shit checked out. Yeah, fucking. Dude, like I said, I had weird fat deposits that I was like, they need to be out of my body, and then they did, and then that was it. I still have a couple here or there, but whatever, I'll get those removed eventually.
But it is interesting that this is just his one moment in Eric's. I mean, this is the Eric story, but this is his one where he kind of got sucked into a chapter of it.
Yeah,
exactly. And we're just kind of hearing this. Really need to know. We really need to know Eric's whole story, the whole thing.
And if anybody else around Eric has experienced anything, I mean, obviously this is his buddy Thomas. They've been hanging out and fucking ripping Super Nintendo and doing all kinds of sweet shit. But
crushing lettuce,
in the 90s, doing exactly what we all did.
Fucking dude, Joel and fucking all kinds of sweet shit. But who else around? I mean, his mother experiences, Eric experiences. Who else?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you need more information?
Is it still happening? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Here's where we're luckier, possibly than most, because unlike a lot of the stories we get from the 70s or whenever, and we only get the eyewitness's initials and there's no real way to follow up on it. We actually obviously have access to Thomas because he literally sent us the story. So not only would I put it out to you, Thomas, that we would love to find out more about your personal experiences that continued on after this, but also maybe if you could talk to your buddy Eric and see if he might be willing to, of course, under any sort of anonymity he would require and desire, share with us the rest of the story, and perhaps even if we were able to, maybe we could share more with the rest of the listeners, because I'm sure everyone out there is fascinated to find out more, because this could be, I mean, this already is one of the more fascinating potential abduction memories that I have come across. And I do know that they do plant, allegedly, extraterrestrials or whatever they are. I'm always vague on that. I'm never fully buying the extraterrestrial hypothesis, but for lack of a better term, the aliens cloud your memories by making you remember normal things. When we went back to one of the listener stories we did, I think a couple of weeks ago, where it was Men in Black at a door, but then later on, our eyewitness, she remembered them more as, lycra suited, bulbous headed, big black-eyed aliens instead of men in, suits with sunglasses. So this could be one of those same type situations where these creatures, these intelligences, are making you see something that is just more palatable. And maybe it's a mercy. Maybe it's a gift. Like they're trying not to torment you with the unbelievable that will leave you terrified. It's just a dude with a mustache and they're around an object. And again, that's one thing we haven't talked about at all. The object that apparently neither of the boys could remember, just that it was a device. We don't know how big it was. Yeah. I mean, are we talking a craft? Are we talking something's being planted in the ground? Is it just an illusion to, make it look like they were doing something? And they didn't put too much effort into that part because they're like, fuck it. It's an object. Doesn't matter. We're just trying to cloud their minds and, do our medical tests or whatever and get the fuck out.
Yeah. Fuck.
So Thomas, it's in your court now, man. We would love to hear more. And
I mean, any information, by all means, again, email us, scriptednotpodcast@gmail.com. Either you or Eric, please feel free to hit us up and give us more information. This is a creepy one.
It's legitimately creepy.
We get some legit creepy ones where it's like, it's just unsettling. Like, this is kind of fucking weird. So I'm all fucked up. So I hope the listeners are fucked up too.
Anything that makes you
there you go. Good luck with your day, I guess.
Lose memory. I mean, we all have sketchy as fuck memories. God knows there's certain things people insist have happened to me that were spectacular, apparently, that I have no recollection of whatsoever.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks really, for me, seriously. But it's just, that's my mind. My mind is a fucking weird place. But that having been said, to know that you are fully aware of something, I don't have any memories like this. Like I'm watching this and I'm interested and I'm a little afraid and then I'm out. And then I'm waking up in a full-blown night terror, panic, sleep paralysis situation with my fucking room bathed in an eerie, orange glow that is possibly explicable, possibly inexplicable. That to me would be very hard to live with. I also wonder, too, if Thomas maybe ever, went through hypnotic regression, dubious though it can be. Sometimes the procedure, sometimes it opens up doors. Yeah, but it seems like there's a possibility that at least this one time he might have been abducted, too. And there's definitely a hunk of missing time, regardless of whether or not these construction guys, or I keep calling construction guys, these road crew / alien people came in and did anything or not. There was a period of time where he's staring out into this guy's eyes and he's waking up in a bed. And that time is unaccounted for. And I'm wondering if maybe he's ever tried to fill in those gaps through whatever means are necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to throw out theories, but this is just fucked. So I don't know. I'm creeped out, and we need some more information on this because this is beyond most things that we talk about. So please, by all means, send us some more information. So I guess there you have it, listener stories part 9. Holy shit, way to fucking end it up there, Rob. Awesome.
Word up.
Yeah, totally, Thomas. Thank you so very much. Oz, thank you so very much as well. Watch out for those possums out there, or as I say, opossums out there in Australia. So the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks, check us out there. Thank y'all to everyone that hits me up with the messages. I appreciate it. Facebook group, check it out. Facebook group is fucking super cool. Go there, check it out. It's awesome. Post some shit, have fun. I don't know. Don't take shit too seriously, I guess, is the
Truth.
a thing to say. Yeah, like just calm down and enjoy. Post fun shit and have fun. And thank you, obviously, to all of the moderators that we have there. They do not have an easy job.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
absolutely.
On occasion, things get a little fucking bonkers for them. But thank you all so very much. I mean, they're just listeners that just wanted to start this, and
Yeah.
we're just kind of there, like along for the ride. So we appreciate all of your help and support there. HellerSpace.com. Get yourself some merch. Buy some shit from us. TeePublic. There's delays. There's no sales. Don't let me dissuade you from buying shit because things are shipping. And actually, when we end this episode and we go to record our Patreon episode, I have to go check and see if the test prints that I ordered. Oh, test prints for what, Mark? I won't tell you. Not just yet. To see what showed up. So hopefully my mail is here, which would be fucking super dope. And again, hellerspace.com. If you're on the Patreon, there is a discount code. Always order during sales or discount codes to save yourself a little bit of money. Patreon.com/KryptonautPodcast. $1 is a shout out. $5 is a shout out and some bonus audio. And we are about to record July's final Patreon episode. So check that out. I think that's it. That's all we got.
I got one more thing. I know I've said this before.
Okay.
I'm saying it again. It's just an imploration to all of our listeners because there's no fucking way. I've already mentioned how my memory is a big fucking black hole.
Is this about the follow-ups?
This is about follow-ups. This is about
Yes.
I'm working on the Loveland follow-up. I'm working on the El Verde follow-up, Black Eyed Kids follow-up.
Okay.
But
All
I
right,
know
cool.
there are two things that I have done a lot, and I've started a list, and it is absolutely incomplete, and that is things that we're going to revisit so we can expand on, and things that I have mentioned that we absolutely are going to do. I remember like the Hopkinsville Goblins. Of course, that's a Stone classic.
Tulpas. Sure. Do Tulpas.
Surely Tulpas at some point. So I'm not asking anyone out there to like comb through and do it, but just anyone out there has a memory. What I'm hoping is the full breadth of listeners that might be willing and might have said, oh yeah, you said you do that. You guys said, oh shit. So if we all come together, maybe I can make a reasonable list and really start coming through, because I always want to do these things. It's just, from week to week, we just new shit pops up and I'm like, oh, we got to do this, la la la. So
yeah,
I'm trying to make good on the promise now, and I could use your help to do it.
We just kind of put it out there willy-nilly. So help us, help you get better episodes and newer episodes, and send us what we said that we were going to do, because we don't remember. So
that's it. Yeah,
true.
Idiots.
True.
Thank you.
There it is. We're dumb, and we are all working through it. So thank you. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Thank you all so very much, above and beyond, for the support. It's fucking awesome. We love our listeners. Y'all are so fucking dope, and it's great that you're here. It's great that we're here. We hope to be around for a while. And we hope that you are going to be here with us for this journey through all this weird, fucking crazy shit that we talk about. And you know what? I haven't checked in on the world in quite a while. I've actually checked out recently where I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to look back around January and see how shit's looking. But you know what? Fucking be cool. Stay safe. Do your shit. Be kind to one another. I don't know, fucking randomly hug someone or so. Don't.
Yeah,
never
what
mind.
the fuck
Don't
are
hug
you
anybody.
doing?
Just say hi. Just, you know what you do? Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on and wave to someone in Walmart and say hi.
All right, but
don't hug
also,
anybody.
man, do you sure you want
It's
to
a
drop
fucking
out
pandemic.
of reality until fucking January? I thought maybe you were going to give yourself July,
I think
of
I'm
August.
done.
Oh my
I'm just gonna
God,
hang
all
out
right.
with my fucking wife.
That's a long time. That's a long
you know what?
time.
No, you know what? It's been a long life. I'm gonna hang out with my wife and my kids, and I'm gonna fucking do my cool
Been
shit.
a long life.
And not worry about this shit anymore, because the world is a fucking hellscape, and I'm fucking tired of it.
All
And
right.
It sucks. Our listeners rule.
You
You guys
need
are
to
my
do
fucking
you.
faves.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna
Okay.
do me. I love y'all.
All right,
And-
we're going to have a Mark intervention here, and it's going to be good. You're going to be okay, Mark.
Trust me, things are good. Don't listen to Mark. Things are actually good. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Don't hug anybody, and unless you
Mentally
they're
hug
like-
people.
Yes,
mentally
mental
hug
hugs
everybody.
galore.
Send hug emojis, and we're talking to you soon.
You need help,
Goodbye,
man.
citizens.
Listen, all right. The last fucking 3 days have been an absolute shit show for me.
Yeah,
I finally
dude,
got
I-
a chance to sit down and crush some fucking beers, and I
You
fucking
did.
I may have vaped some weed. Don't fucking judge me. You
when
don't
do
know
I
me.
ever
mean,
judge you?
You do.
Ever.
You both know me actually very well.
That's right.
And Honestly, this is a fun episode. Thanks, guys. I appreciate
I know.
it. You guys are my fucking
Oh my
favorites
God.
ever.
Oh, buddy.
Okay.
We love you. We love you
We'll
all.
be talking to you soon.
Goodbye, friends.
Goodbye once again.
Goodbye again. For real.
Ah.